not as diverse, or it's about as diverse, sorry. Whereas our student populations are much more diverse. This is interesting because Rutgers does a great job on student diversity, but it is lacking in institutional faculty diversity. So that can impact the student experience. You know, if a student comes here and sees no one who they can, who they feel represents them, they're going to have a less meaningful time here, and they may have a worse experience in their opinion because they don't have someone who they feel they can connect with or represent them. Number 10. This is always fun. You all put answers down. There's answers on the page. I just want to hear what they are. 80%. 80%. So odds are most people in this room get financial aid of some kind, whether that be a loan or a Pell Grant or something of the sort. That's significant because it kind of goes to say, hey, college is something people value, but at the same time, it's not something that's necessarily accessible just not to. You know, people need loans to come here, or need a scholarship to get here. And so that's important to consider when you are, say, holding an event. You know, can students actually pay $15 to come see a speaker when they need Pell Grants to get through school? It's important to consider that money matters in a lot of students' experiences at the university, and it can impact a lot of people. You know, 80% of people get financial aid. That means a conversation about tuition may well impact 80% of the student body more than others, because it really has an impact on their bottom line. If tuition goes up $500, they need to find $500 of financial aid to get in some form of another. Number 12. Any? It is 45. So Rutgers is huge. Like, that's a small city. And that's just undergraduates. When you add in grad students, it approaches, I want to say, the 60,000 number, which is larger than the city of New Brunswick, actually. And that's important to consider because it's very hard to reach all those people at once if you're one person, you're a student. You know, you can be a very involved student on campus and have a network of 200 people in a school of 45. So even at that stage, your impact is rather small. So it's very helpful to kind of start small and build from there. Starting a group with 5 people, and those 5 people having 5 friends and reaching out from there creates a much bigger, more impactful network to work with. But at the same time, you just started with those 5. It's very hard to work from the top down in something as big as Rutgers. So it's very beneficial as a student leader to work from the bottom up and kind of start at the grassroots. Number 14, this is a fun one. D. Everyone should know this. If you don't, I'll be sad. The correct answer is D, founded in 1766. Does anyone know which college was King's College? Because we were queens, they were kings. No.
NYU.
No.
Wait, it's something New York. No, Cambridge.
Nope.
No, Cambridge is in England.
Yes.
Columbia.
Yes. Columbia was King's College. Rutgers was Queen's College. Princeton used to be known as the College of New Jersey. Interestingly enough. That was fun facts there. There were more fun ones than the odd number. Then number 15, there is no right answer for this one. I'm just curious what you had to say.
I said relative to like other states, our state tuition is super high. Like North Carolina, if you're an in-state resident, you're going to pay like $4,000 a year for like full semester. But compared to other colleges in New Jersey, because a lot of them are private, Rutgers is cheaper.
In comparison to out of state, I know that Rutgers is extremely expensive. You will pay almost $30,000 out of state, especially if you're like a foreigner.
Other people like
I
that.
could say it's relative. Like even like for in-state, like the tuition's getting a lot higher than normal.
Yeah.
So like I know like my parents are annoyed with it.
Oh yeah. Anyone else?
Yeah, I had a roommate from New York, and she paid I think like $44,000 for when we could go here.
Yeah, it's expensive out of state. Interestingly enough, I could go to a school in Pennsylvania in state, or out of state, sorry. Not Penn State or Pitt, like not one of the big schools, but one of the smaller ones, for less out of state than I could go to Rutgers. Which is just kind of crazy. But that question is all about perception. It's all about what you think. I personally think my answer to that question is yes. Rutgers is expensive. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Whether you're in-state, out of state, it's a lot of money. And I take that to be gospel. That's just something I feel is true. But obviously, not everyone thinks that way. People say, a lot of people in the last group said comparatively, it's not that expensive. If you compare it to a Princeton or a Harvard or even, a Monmouth, it's not that expensive. So it's all about perception. And that's important when you're a student leader because you need to tailor what you're doing to kind of match the audience in a sense, but also just understand that what you're saying and what you feel to be true may not be taken the same way but as other people, and you need to kind of acknowledge that and work with it. So just appealing to someone based on tuition prices may not impact them because they may think, oh no, Rutgers is cheap. The president of the university said, no, I think Rutgers is a great value because when you compare it to these other schools, it is. So that's something important to consider in any time you try to be a leader. Does anyone have any questions about that? Oh, sorry, 16. Anyone have any cool alumni they want to mention? Jim?
I know people, but I just like.
Goldman Sachs, like VP or CEO, I think.
Yeah, I think the CFO.
CFO?
Yeah. Yeah. Joyce Kilmer, yes. Famous
Oh,
poet. Wrote the poem Trees. Also World War I fighter pilot. Milton Friedman, noted economist. Natalie Morales from the Today Show. Who watches 30 Rock? Anyone? Jane Krakowski, blonde. Jenna, Rutgers Mason Gross grad. Ray Rice, Paul Robeson, all went to the university. Mario Batali worked at Stuff Your Face and went to Rutgers. I know, crazy. Also, James Gandolfini from The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
Rutgers grad. So Rutgers, been around a while. A lot of pretty cool people came from here. Any last comments or questions on that? Then I've got some questions. No? We're good? Okay. So, just to start, how has New Brunswick, the city, impacted your time at Rutgers? Have you been particularly impacted by its cultural options, or is it very separate from your time here?
Well, okay, where I'm from in North Jersey, it's like very, it's like very cultured, like my town is very diverse, but at the same time, there's a lot of like affluence and people can be like snotty. I wasn't raised that way because like my family's all foreign and like I'm first generation, but like before I came to Rutgers, like I had never been to like a Walmart or like any of those types of stores. And so I've never really like been around like a place like New Brunswick, so I was definitely impacted in that way. But it was like a very like good and like meaningful impact. Like I'm glad that I got to experience this because it definitely I don't know, now when I go home and like when I see people like acting the way they do, like Bergen County, blah blah blah, I'm just kind of like, you're being ridiculous. No, and uncultured.
Yeah.
Where in North Jersey?
Milford,
Oh.
in Bergen County.
No one has any other, no. New Brunswick has had zero impact of your time at Rutgers.
I live in Edison, and that's like very diverse,
Yeah.
like extremely diverse, and it's I think more in like the poor area in Edison. I live in South Edison,
Okay.
not North Edison. And North Edison is like the richer, and like J.B. Siemens gets more money from like my high school and high school. So I'm used to like being around like people who are a little bit underprivileged, and where is it going with this? Oh yeah, and I feel like my area is a little bit more safe, but like when walking around New Brunswick, because I live off campus, I just have to be aware that like I have to keep my guard up. I have to always like sometimes if I'm walking like late at night, like I keep my keys like in between my fingers. So like I guess that's why it's like affected me in the sense that my neighborhood is a little bit safer than New Brunswick.
So sort of like going off of that a little bit, I was originally came